Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, I'm going to be doing a video on NKeal Harry draft status. And this is going to be something that I have not done a lot of videos on, nor have I done a lot of research into until the last couple months. I've been collecting data regarding draft status and its effects on the success of a player. A lot of people talk about draft status as the most important thing over everything else. I, of course, if you've talked to me before, disagree, because you could be drafted top 10 overall, but if you're unproductive, if you were below average productive, there's a very low likelihood you're going to be successful no matter how high you get drafted. But draft status, nevertheless, is definitely something that you need to be paying attention to when you're evaluating football players. So I know I've been hung up on draft status a lot in my previous videos, saying it doesn't matter, or at the very least, it's insignificant compared to production data, and I was wrong. Draft status has a huge impact on the success of a player or unsuccess of a player. You could be really, really productive, and if you're never drafted, you'll never get a chance to become a starter because it doesn't matter how productive you are if you never get drafted, if no team shows interest in you. It's just as simple as that. So we're going to be looking at draft status in regards to wide receivers. I'm also going to be looking at draft status in regards to other positions to show you the impact that draft status can have on a football player, and add in the layers of other data that I've spent so many years collecting, such as production data and those other sort of facets to things. So that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at NKeal Harry. NKeal Harry was the highest drafted wide receiver in the 2019 NFL Draft, and we're going to see how that will impact him in terms of his overall success rate going into the future. Now, first off, let's look at draft status data. Now, I'm going to expand on this a little bit more, but I'm just going to start with round 1 in this video. So I'm going to expand to round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. I'm going to get to that information in other videos so that there's some practical, so that I'm just not making a video about every single round. You know, I just want to get it very specific and basic to what the player that I'm talking about. But when you look at the success percentage of all rounds, because I do get this a lot. You know, I talk a lot about production data, why it matters, why it doesn't matter, all those other types of things. The success percentage is like this. When it comes to production data, and if you're new to the channel, new to the work that I do, all terms and definitions are in the description. But it's basically like this. If you have a production score of 99 to 90%, then whatever round you are drafted in, every single wide receiver that had a 99 to 90 percentile production score, 37% of those players went on to become long-term starters or better at the NFL level. If you had an 89 to 80 percentile score in terms of your production, you have a 20% chance of becoming a successful wide receiver. If you have a 79 to 70 score, you have a 12% chance, 69 to 60, 7% chance, 59 to 50, 2% chance, and if you're a 49 to 0, meaning you are below average productive compared to your peers, since 1969, by the way, you have a 1% chance of being successful, no matter what round you are drafted in. Now, that's all important, but what about draft status? Where you are drafted can definitely have a drastic impact on your overall success. And based on the data, that's very much true. When you look at success percentage in round 1, if you are a 99 to 90 percentile productive guy, so if you're in the top 10 percentile of production compared to your peers, and you're drafted in round 1, 59% of those players go on to become long-term starters or better. 89 to 80. 57%, 79 to 70, 50%, 69 to 60, 38%, 59 to 50, 29%, and 49 to 0, 0%. Production matters. You can see the success percentage by all rounds that production, the more productive you are, the higher productive you are, the more success you're going to have. But draft status definitely has a high impact on you when it comes to your overall success percentage into the future. And what we're going to focus on today is NKeal Harry. NKeal Harry, the Patriots wide receiver from he was drafted, of course, by the Patriots. Production-wise, 87.52 out of 100. I'm not going to go over the 5-time All-Pro, 3-time All-Pro stuff because this should be common knowledge, or at the very least, you can just look at the data and decipher it for what you want it to be. When you look at the averages, 87.52, pretty much in that between All-Pro and Pro Bowl starter area when it comes to NKeal Harry, when it comes to his overall production. When you look at his draft status, round 1 player, when you look at the 89 to 80 area, 57% chance of becoming successful based on that data. And when you actually look at all the players that were drafted with the 89 to 90, 89 to 80 production score, and of course you look at the rounds, so basically it says the rounds, the picks, and where they were drafted. There's a lot of successful players near NKeal Harry, and I'm not going to make a straight comparison to these players because they're different. All of them are different. But this is just to give you sort of a sample of the types of players that have had that type of production score and were drafted in round 1. Some of these players obviously were drafted higher than other ones, but this is just a general idea there. And when you actually look at the pick status, so if you look at all the players that were drafted below pick 16, because NKeal Harry was kind of a late round pick, pick 32. When you look at all the players that were drafted below pick 16, so this is like the bottom half of the first round, lots of successful players there, obviously. In terms of players that are there. Add on to the fact that NKeal Harry also has a fairly athletic ability. He's 97.44 in terms of explosion, 89.52 in terms of speed, and 83.80 in terms of flexibility for his size. All those areas are well within the All-Pro, Pro Bowl, and starter averages. So I haven't even looked at athleticism data because I definitely think athleticism data would knock some of these wide receivers down in terms of success rates. But overall, NKeal Harry has a high chance of becoming a successful NFL wide receiver. A better chance than every other wide receiver because of his draft status. And I'm just making this video to get this information out to you guys that this is going to be another layer excuse me, to data, another layer to the work that I do, because I feel like draft status is something that I've been either ignoring or just not acknowledging because I just haven't put the work into it to give you guys data. I don't like to present things to you without having all the facts. I don't like to present things to you that don't have correlation. I don't like to present things to you that I feel are fluff. And draft status is definitely something that I think is going to add another layer to things to make the success rates even higher into the future. Betting on NFL players becoming successful, predicting NFL players being successful is not something you should do for a living. It really isn't. I don't know how people do it, man, in terms of just being able to predict things, because it's entirely a very unpredictable type of thing to follow. If you just look at the success rate percentages, even when you are really above average productive, you're basically 37% chance. Even when you are productive and you're drafted in round 1, you have and say you're a 79 to 70 percentile guy, in terms of your production rate. You only have a 50% chance. That's a flip of the coin in terms of your chance of becoming successful at the NFL level. So that just kind of shows you that the NFL is very fickle. It's not something where every player that gets drafted is going to be successful, and sometimes players are going to hit numbers and not be successful. But all I can really say to kind of close this video out is that draft status is going to be something I'm going to be taking more of a harder look on. Going to be presenting more videos that are kind of about this topic in the future, and also when it comes to the draft review, looking at the draft picks that teams have had. I'm going to be adding that sort of twist to the draft sets, because draft sets can definitely have a powerful impact on the success or failure of a player, as much as production, as much as age, as much as all the other sort of factors that I look at. So, but the bottom line is, NKeal Harry, best wide receiver in terms of his potential success out of every wide receiver in this draft class, bar none. There's really nothing else to say, to add to that. Just athletic, productive, hits all the marks you're looking for, and I think you should be very excited. If you're of course, if you're a fantasy football guy and you're looking to draft NKeal Harry, as one of the top picks. Out of all the offensive players in this particular draft class, he's one of the safer ones. I mean, I know a lot of people want to take running backs like Josh Jacobs, etc., but just looking at draft sites, looking for the player that has the most likely chance of becoming successful. Forget about the fact that New England has had bad issues with wide receivers, obviously. He's still a good pick. It's still a good pick. So just keep that in mind. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, listening to me, and be ready for more videos, more content coming on relating to draft status, relating to those other sort of factors regarding that. And again, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.